All right. Let's see here. Going to get everything set up. All right. So I'm going to start the game. And pull in the correct window. See if I can anyway. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a moment. I'll get it resized to a more appropriate window. Windowed size. There we go. There we go. I think I need to actually do an audio capture. I'm not. Uh-oh. Everything is working incorrectly. Graphics drivers just crashed, actually. So I'm waiting for it to reset. Okay, I should be back now, theoretically. So it seems like the game crashed, or my graphics driver crashed. So we're going to give this a second shot. See if we can't get it working. And it was weird because the audio is actually coming through my speakers, not my headphones. So I don't think it's getting captured correctly. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. So give me a moment to capture the correct audio. desktop audio is not working, so I'm going to try a different audio output capture. And then send it to the right. All right. It's probably way too loud. Hopefully that's better. So, I know the audio is cutting out when I'm getting off of the main window. I just need to reorient everything so I can see chat. All right, hopefully this doesn't completely fail again. While we wait for people to join. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. I'll kind of walk through my characters and the classes they are. So I actually created this character, Marthiel, because that's the name of an actual end-level boss of the very first version of the game. And have a costume for her so I can walk around as her, but she's only level 5. Amicus was my wizard-ish character. I made him a green wizard. He's a lore master. Lore masters, they aren't really magicians or anything. They use like nature to their advantage. Let's see. Aedwin is my he's my warden, and I actually had him set up to kind of be like a proto-Bjorning. Basically, he can wear different animal costumes, and this is the main one he wears. Is this kind of interesting little ram costume. You got Minas Tirith in the background here. Fallowise was my burglar. I thought I'd had more to cap, but I guess I didn't. I guess I got most of them to the original level cap of 50. Christ is my captain. Nar is my champion dwarf. Here we go. Wearing a pretty cool helmet there. Pongo is my minstrel, wearing a big pretzel outfit with a thing. He plays bagpipes. And then, let's see, Vanyan is my runekeeper. And Valen is my hunter. And then my main is my guardian. So I'll go into the game now. And I'm going to make sure that I can actually access the live stream properly, because hoping that crash didn't completely break it. Let's see. Okay. I can. Seems to be working. Going to take this brief moment to notify Discord. I'm in Hobbiton, apparently. I don't know why I'm in Hobbiton. Who knows? right. Let's see here. Very full bags. Think. Hey, Stairway. Just kind of getting started, had some stream issues. I'm going to probably start by going to Breetown. And then we are going to talk about Lord of the Rings Online a bit. And we'll do a bit of a tour everywhere. Alright, so this is Bree. It's nighttime, so that's it's not the best time to visit everything. And I think it's weird because my aspect ratio has changed things a good bit in not too positive a way. I am on ultra high though, so so Breetown has an interesting little layout. We'll go find the Prancing Pony here. Get on my horse. And I believe I am still set up as a keen edge. Yep. Trait line, which they apparently didn't reset, so that's good. I don't have to do anything with it. And forgive the lag. Don't believe that's on my end, but it could be if the stream is causing it. So this is the Prancing Pony. And if there's anything people want to see, like a location or something, just let me know. So yeah, I have the Prancing Pony. You know, one of the liberties they take with the game is everything is a little bit bigger on the inside, so you actually have space to move around. And it crashed. Yep, that's not good. Okay, I should be coming back online now. So the LOTRO did not like me trying to stream it for some reason. So we're going to go back to trying to work on designing this water tower model. And or the drive-in theater model that I started earlier today. Not a big fan of these stanchion things, so I'm probably going to change them. But yeah, so sorry about that. I was hoping to be able to do some Lord of the Rings Online, but it was not meant to be. So we will do something else. So earlier today, I worked on the design of this water tower, or more specifically the whole drive-in theater model, but the focus really came down to this water tower, and it was represented about 2 hours worth of work. So quite a lot of work. But I'm going to redo these little stanchions. I'm going to find a better way to do those. But before I do, and one of the better ways might be to just drop it down in height. In fact, that might be the first step I take. See if that just makes it look better. A little bit of a shorter water tower, but things in the Lego world aren't always super high. Yeah, it seems like it needs to be taller than that. So I think I'm going to opt for a different approach, which is going to be, oh wow, it reset everything when that crashed. Wow. First things first, I'm going to set this down here. Start doing the build up of all this. Do a new submodel. And I'm going to get one of the Technic bars. Does this program allow you to, or does this allow you to program animations? No, I don't think so. There is the ability, like I know some people use this to export models to like Blender and do animations there. Where is the Technic stuff? Oh, linkers, that's probably where it's under. I don't know why I couldn't actually see Technic when I was looking for it. So I'm looking for the long, it's going to be an axle, that's the term I was going to need. Yeah, these extra long axles, maybe 16. We can actually, by the way, if I'll save as, I'll go back to saving this to this model. It was a recovery model, but height, those need to be maybe twice the height. Two more. One, two. go. So I need to find, got these girder bricks. And I feel like, I don't like that they kind of stop there. It feels very unnatural to have that there. Maybe I do like a cross brace between these of some sort. Let me think about what would look best here. If we, it's too long. If we did something like this, oops. Okay. Like that. And did longer ones on the outside. Like so. Maybe we just do it all the way around. I don't know if that all just feels a little bit too thick. I wonder if we can't do a better thing with something like bars. Make it look a little bit more interesting. So let me actually pull that out. Think about how I want to do this. So difficult sometimes to balance the structural need of the model with how you want things to look visually. I'm going to go back to Technic. I bet you, I'm wondering if using Technic Pieces for all this wouldn't just work better in general. And so I think I'm going to pull all of these off to the side and look at using Technic Pieces specifically. I am looking for these types of pieces. So that's a pretty long lift arm. Hey, Zipzax. It's not exactly the longest one, though. There are these, and there are these. Pull some of these out to use, potentially. So in order to make all of this work, going to have to think about what it attaches into and where. And I feel like it's going to be in this foundation bit. So you have these brick modified pieces that have these little outlet pieces, little pegs. But I'm thinking that the way I'm going to want to do this is with my foundation pieces, I'm going to want to do hello everyone who's jumping on. Let's see. I know of a couple ways to do this type of thing, and I think the most effective way will actually be to use a pin system. And I need to find the right brick for. Is it actually considered? Oh, it's a Technic brick, that's why. So these. That, along with the Technic pin. And I might end up doing all this as a sub-model. That'll get set on there. Maybe. But the idea would be to take two of these and one of these, and essentially this plugs in here. One of these bars plugs in here, and then this plugs in there, and that all fits into the foundation over here. And I do a couple of those, and they can kind of lean in. I wonder what the longest lift arm is. But a lot of these things can be basically paired, and it'll look a little bit more like a spindly support structure. This one is 1x15. This one is 1x13. So the longest is 1x15, which is what we're using here. So yeah, we'll likely have some sort of supporting structure. Hey VLM. First time watching someone building Lego this way. Well, I'm glad it's interesting. Let me actually get a little bit more of this window real estate. I realized just now that I'm working in this tiny little window. I can open it up a bit more. Everything crashed when I was trying to do Lord of the Rings online, so I gave up on that. Alright, so that's kind of the way I do my foundational piece. And actually, all of this needs to move one more in. Then I will set this over here. To answer the question, this software is called stud.io. it's tied to Lego's Bricklink website, so it is effectively the closest you can get to an official Lego design software suite. And it's got a pretty comprehensive setup in terms of number of bricks that are available and whatnot to use. So I think I'm going to want to space all of these out a bit more. Like so. Use the full amount of this real estate in this fence line area. Oh. Because it needs to move out and out. And it allows you to do a lot of really cool things. You can do color validation. You can do color validation. You can do parts pick listing. So you can actually go get all the parts to build the model later in real life. Okay. That's there. That looks correct. This is LL. Yeah. And I think the connection point will be similar up at the top here. Using essentially the same methodology to lock in. And there was a piece that we didn't use that now I'm wondering if it's possible to use effectively with this. I'm going to pull it back in and take a look, because this could actually do something kind of interesting potentially. I don't think so. Yeah, I'd have to have these at a weird angle to make what I was thinking of work. But yeah, so effectively you're able to design and then build in real life the model. And so earlier today, since people are, more people are on now, let me actually walk through what I did earlier today, kind of catch up. So I recreated the size of a 10-inch tablet in Lego. So this would be like the actual size of a 10-inch tablet here. And this is going to be a drive-in theater where all the cars would come in and park. I'm going to, back here, build a screen where the tablet can actually slot in and you could actually play actual movies for your Lego people. The water tower is part of kind of this idea that it's more than just a blank field of cars, but it's also going to be like over here you can see, let me move all this stuff out of the way a bit. So you have this fence and padlock and all that, but over here you see there's actually a piece of the fence loose and people can sneak in. And the idea will be that they can climb up the ladder that I'll eventually put in there, and they can watch from the water tower. They can watch the drive-in theater, so they're not paying for their tickets. That's the idea. There'll be a gatehouse and a concession stands thing, and some trees lining everything. But right now, to me, the hardest part is actually going to be this water tower, or at least it kind of feels like it's going to be one of the harder parts to do. So yeah. Zeph asked, "What is a drive-in theater?" Um, well, it's a giant outdoor screen that has films projected on it, where people drive up in their cars and watch the movies. So instead of paying to go to a cinema, you pay to go park in a parking lot where there is a giant screen and you watch the movie that way. It was popularized back in the 50s, and it's kind of a key piece of Americana. We actually have one close to where I live. So, all right, so I think one question I'm going to have is, how do we do... I think we're going to do cross bracing. And those would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8. It does sound old, but it's part of the experience, I think, more than anything. It's a different way of enjoying movies, and you know, it's a little bit more analog, but it's actually quite a lot of fun. You do it to go, really, in my opinion, watch films that you've already seen before or you don't care as much about. So you don't have to be so focused on watching the thing. You can just kind of enjoy the experience. I think I want a 1x9. That's a weird number. Why are these in odd numbers? Oh, Technic. You make life so difficult. Well, one thing I know I can do here is use these thin lift arms as a cross bracing. So let's go get some Technic pins, like this one. And stick it in the third hole up. You know, I bet you I should use these for this at this point. So let me actually change this around, because I do think that's going to be beneficial to do. What colors do these come in? Do they come in white? No. What are my options for these Technic pieces? Only in black. So we'll likely do all this in black. Well, I think part of the model that I haven't really thought too much about, but is going to have to be part of it, is actually building some probably 1950s styled cars, be my guess. Get some like hot rod style cars, or some like beatnik vans or something like that. Okay. Now I'm going to use this pin. Say right there. And then do the next one up there, maybe. Let's see what that does. Oh, I need one longer than that. So that's 7, right? So for these, I'm going to want to use... I hate the terms. Messes with my brain. Looking for lift arms. Probably an... Is that the longest they have is the 7? Yes, it is. That's unfortunate. Does that even reach? It doesn't even reach. That would have been the ideal, would be to have the thinner ones to do cross bracing type things. So that's mildly disappointing. I'll come back to that then. Go back to Technic Pins. Technic. Oh, I've got this, that's why. Linkers, pins. So get a standard pin. Why can't I find a standard one? There it is. So I think I would want it here or on the inside actually. And actually no, I'm going to do it here. And then I would have another one of these hooked in potentially. But it's not, it's a little bit too, the water tower is now a little bit too short. So I need to find a different lift arm that's a different size to make all this work. It's 1 by 11 maybe. In black. This is all kind of a trial and error to see what might work best or look best. I think I'm going to do a cross bracing to actually make all this look good. So that was the 1 by 11. And the next one up is the 1 by 15. So I'm wondering actually, if I pull out that 1 by 11 and do a 1 by 15 at a similar height, does that allow me to do a cross bracing thing better? Because I can turn that around and move it up 1. Oh yeah, that's going to work out better, I think. Because then I can do the cross bracing stuff. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I can get see that's too thin, so I have to use full length ones. 1x9. Yeah. So I get other pins. And I would do it like here and here and in these spots as an example. And I would take this 1x9 and slot it in. So the 1x9 suggests I need to kind of reposition a lot of this stuff. No, it doesn't. I need to make them lean in. That's what I need to do. So, this is one of the cool things about this software. All of this stuff can be rotated. And it can be rotated around a given area, like so. And so I can tilt this in, say, by like a very, very small amount. Not a lot. Like five is even too much. I think what I need to do I got too much stuff in the way now. So many things that I'm not using, so let's get rid of these things. My inner OCD is going to kick in. So I really only need it to rotate in enough that, what's the gap between these 4 and 4? I do pin connectors. There's going to be a lot of playing around with this to try to get it to work well. I'm thinking I need to pull this out into my own separate submodel. Like basically all of this can be its own submodel. So I might do that. I don't know that I want to do that yet, but I will at some point. So I know that I need different lift arm. Oh, that fit that way. just fine. Which means something weird. You think about this. Why would that work? First off, if that's going to work, then I want to take these pins out, move these pins up. This whole ladder assembly can go away for a little bit. These distances are different, and that's weird. Because those are half distances. And in order to make this work, I need to shift all this stuff in closer by a half as well. There is a way to do that. It uses a modified plate that looks like it's a 1x3. This one. Would that allow it to move in properly? No, it wouldn't. Suppose I could widen the footprint on one side a little bit more. Because it all would just need to shift over one. So it would need to happen. But then it wouldn't be equidistant up here like it needs to be. So maybe I leave this cross bracing as is. It actually looks poor. It doesn't look very good. I think I need to take a slightly different approach. So if I take this 1x15 and replace it by a 1x11, again, reduce the height of the tower, but I think the way I can make this look nicer is if that goes all the way up there, then that actually gives me this space down here underneath to do a cross brace. And so it would look something like, oops. That. And then, and actually I would want these rotated and down one. And then we could do the cross brace here. I think that's closer to what I'd want. don't know about Hot Wheels, Zep. I'm thinking purely in minifigure scale with all of this at this point. So I haven't really given any thought into how this as a model could be used for any other number of purposes. Hot Wheels kind of drives for a little bit of a realism aspect, and that kind of makes me feel like you almost be better off doing like a scale model. Oops. Of a similar type of design. So, let me think about this. Oh, I see what you're saying, the Lego Hot Wheels, yeah. These little things right here. It's a good point. I see what you're saying. I'm still thinking in minifigure scale, I guess. A minifigure is still much larger than that Hot Wheel. So I want this to lean in one direction and then 90 degrees the other. And in order to do that, I need to do a little bit of an inversion here. So this needs to come out here. Or actually on the inside. And this needs to turn. Oh dear. That's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to do that. And this I can turn that way. So that those can rotate in a little bit. Yeah, Scholar General, this is the water tower for the drive-in theater. That is the current plan anyway. I'm trying to figure out how to make it have a it's the word I'm looking for. Like a girder style feel to it, you know, the support girders, while making it structurally sound and visually appealing and all the rest. And this is what I'm coming up with right now, and I might change my mind in the future. So I need to look up how I can rotate these things by not a ridiculous degree. Because I don't need to rotate it a huge amount. It's very minimal. And I don't know if there's a button I can press. Oh, look, that's okay. If I just hold it out further, it does much less. Perfect. Okay. So let's do it consistent. So I'm going to do a rotation here. This rotating down here, but way out here to make it very minimal. I'm talking about maybe a single degree in, if I can make it meet a single degree. Very hard to do. 2 degrees, that works. Proof of concept will be whether or not this moving it 2 degrees off of 0 inward. So we get 2. There. All right, so yeah, if we do that, then we definitely want to flip this around this way. Because if we don't do that, then it's going to have the effect of it being tilted in a little bit too much. And then these, likewise, what am I hitting here? I think I'm accidentally seeing something I'm not supposed to. Likewise, we'll tilt in some. Oh, wow, that's not what I wanted. Why is it doing that? There we go. Some minimal amount, whatever it is. I don't know that I want to do that quite yet. I want to get the crossbeam thing set up properly now so that it looks good. I wish I had much longer versions of these things. Kind of want just a very, very straight support mechanism. It's possible we can do it with bricks as well. Trying to look at some examples of what other people have done for similar things online. Much like the supports on the roller coaster sets. I could do that. That is not a bad idea. All right, check this out. Let's scrap this for a moment. I'm going to highlight all these things and just move them away. The roller coaster set, the official Lego roller coaster set, has this really elegant solution that I think we can adopt, and it'll actually be better than this. And so I can put my foundations back in. I think it'll also work better with the dimensions of the actual Lego pieces. So let's try this. Like I said, I think this is going to be the hardest thing to build. It's kind of my expectation. This is going to be the most difficult one. So I'm going to go reintroduce my foundation like so. And then there is a modified tile that looks like dum, dum, dum. It's a 1x2 with a clip. Considered a plate. Yep, here it is. This. So I think the best way to do that, there's also, what is this thing called? Actually not certain. There is a bar style thing. It is very round. I might also want to use This. So, the way this could, in theory, be used is I think we're probably going to be better off using these clips. And I'm actually leaning over to look at the way the roller coaster is done. So I have it on my back wall over here. So the way they seem to have done it is they have a 2x2 so many bricks. Oh my goodness, so many bricks. It's probably even going to be a modified brick. Yeah, this. I use these with these on top, so they can actually add some additional support above it with a pin. But then this clip can clip onto it and be rotated. So let me, like this. But we could do it on the outside bit here. If I rotate it a little bit and clip it on like that, and that would allow us to bring it inward, which I think is what we're going to do. So what we need to do then, and sorry, I was not looking at, I don't know if anyone's talking, but they're not. So a turntable too. No, I don't think I need the turntable. I mean, I could do that, but I want to see if this will work, and then I can refine it, right? So the idea being that we will do some sandwiching of pieces here that will look like what I'm actually going to do. Let me go roller coaster instructions. Going to just look up the way they did their braces. In the actual instructions. Right. So they basically customized the length with clips on the ends and then tiles. So it's you define your length, you then build it up with clips on the ends, and then do so I'm going to reset origin. Oh, going to rotate this. Oops. Grabbing the wrong thing, so it helps to do it correctly. I don't need to do that. Just clip it in. There we go. So they do this kind of thing, and then they take tiles, really long tiles, and they do it like this. And the advantage here, as opposed to all this Technic stuff, is that definitely comes in white. And then this, depending on the overall length, could then attach up here. And we could put some center point attachment pieces like Um, dun. I'm looking for a modified plate that has the bar piece like this, or something like that that can be clipped onto, maybe. But so I need to figure out what my overall length is going to be here, and create these little clip points up at the top as well, potentially. Although I might be able to do it with just bars or something. But yeah, I think it's going to be something more like this. If I set that there and go get a round plate, like so, that sits on it, gives it a bit of depth that can basically stick up here. As a supporting structure. It would be a lot more ideal to have things at corners. And the other way of doing that is to use hinge pieces as well. Oh, this was the piece I was looking for just a second ago. So that's more along the lines of what I was looking for. And you know, realistically, I could use that just in and of itself, or something like that. These, what is that called? Bar handles. These. So I could actually do this. This is another way of doing it. And I would rotate this at 45 degrees. Oh, come on. Don't do that to me. Ah. Try that again. Like that. And I could do cross supports for all of them to keep them in place. And I could actually do that like in the foundation. So if I, instead of doing those, if I used large plates, it was 2 by 8. So if I did 1, 2, actually, it'd really just be 2 of these plates. No, I'll do it like this potentially. It's clipping onto the wrong thing there. If I can get it to stop trying to clip onto the wrong thing, would be ideal. Then this could fit down here. And I'll redo my stairs as well. I might do something different with them. That foundation acts as a pad now. I can rotate it to the 45 degrees. Like so. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Okay. Something was hung for a moment. It wasn't doing anything. So yeah, I think this is going to work out better. So I'm going to get rid of these Technic pieces. Don't think that's going to be the approach I'm going to take. So then I come over here and I do, those are 8 as well, so 2 by 8 this way, and this way, with 1 by 6s in between. Oops. Like so. And then I think, I'm hoping this doesn't mess with the rotation too much, or the ability to rotate. Oh dear. Like that. The question is whether or not that's going to stop the bar from rotating the way I need it to, or if this whole thing needs to be raised up one more. I don't really have a good answer for that, but we'll give it a shot. We'll try it out this way first, and then modify if we need to later. There we go. So that's our foundation now. And then we can take these bars, basically. Can I group these temporarily? Don't know that I can. So let me do a submodel water tower support. That way I can just move it as I need to. I really want to see if I can make it clip. Doesn't really want to clip. I feel like we'll actually be building the fence later. So I'm going to actually collapse a lot of these steps. And move the water tower fence to a later step. So that I can then do a step view and go to step 8. And not worry about it too much. And see if I can make this clip easier now. May not be able to clip because of how close it is to the ground here. Just not real clear. Oh, there we go. And this whole thing, in theory, should be able to rotate. we go. So that can be my brace. Use a 4x4 cylinder. It won't need supports. Well, like, so realistically, the vast majority of the weight is actually going to be on this central cylinder here. And it has a bar in it to give it some extra support, and likely I'll have that go all the way through the foundation. And so I got to think about the foundation design a bit more. And I think I'm going to pull all of this into its own submodel. Everything I'm building right now is going to become its own submodel that will drop into place. Or at least part of it will be. I think I'm just trying to figure out the length of this brace piece. And then similarly, I will need to have something for this to clip onto up here. And I need to see what my options are. For like the underside, basically. I'm wondering if there are better things for me to use. Like maybe this, right? Of course, I don't know that would clip all that well. That could work. Could that be installed at an angle, though? I don't think so. And therein lies my problem, is I need a thing that I can install an angle. Likely I'll do some sort of support mechanism up here as well. Because when I'm looking up reference photos, very often the actual bracing is meeting at the water tower piece, not the railing around it or the platform around it. So whatever I install needs to be on the underside and needs to be lowered a little bit. And I think the way that's going to get done is actually if I take this whole water tank submodel and create a slightly different way of doing all of this. So I move all this down a little bit and I put some of these braces on these corners. And I rotate these. Rotating this stuff is a nightmare. I kind of really don't like it because it's really hard to get at the exact 45-ish degrees that you need. And I am accidentally rotating everything while I'm doing that, apparently. Rotation is so finicky. I wish I could enter in the value. I would find that much easier. Oh, what are you doing to me, thing? I guess just zooming in really close on it makes it super easy. So do something like that. And then similar to what I did with the the foundation, I kind of just build this up a little bit. So I'll take plates. Handle. Sometimes it filters things. I forget what I've done. And I'll just take like a 4x6 and a 1x4 here and here, and then do the 6x6 on top of all this, like that. Turn it all white. And then work on connecting this whole thing up again. Whoa. Calm down. There we go. So now when I go back to the main model, that gives me the thing I can attach to. When I get to this part, which is step 8. And the height here doesn't really matter much. Just needs to be say that. It's kind of hard to make meet like it needs to. Got to do the nudging thing. All right. What's cool about this is it'll actually allow me to pretty consistently adjust the heights on these things as well. So let's see. Then you go into my submodel. And add a lot of length to it. So whatever the total length I can do, it's the 1x12. At the center point of all this, roughly, is where I'm going to want that handle piece. Plate modified, this piece. I might even do it, let's see, do a one by 3 plate. So I'm going to pop this down on top, set that in the middle, roughly. No, that's not the way I want to do that. I mean, it's all going to matter based on the total length. Anyway, and that's the thing I got to really solve for more than anything. So yeah, I do need an odd number there, but I will do single one and the 6 and put that like that, and tile of 1 by 6, something like that. Let's actually go back now to the main model. Yeah, it's frustrating to watch because L-draw is much easier to manipulate. Yeah, things that use CAD are definitely going to be easier to manipulate, but you have to remember that part of what this software is also allowing me to do, let me think, 1, 2, maybe a 4 length increase. It's allowing me to go into instructions creation and create steps and think about not just how I build the thing physically, but how I create a set of instructions that's followable. That's a hard word to say, apparently. So this whole thing needs to come out by 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll come up by 4. This will come up by 4. Use a longer. Might be 3, I don't know. Really not sure. 1 by 10. Okay. And so I don't want to create too many weak points. So I want to think about my overlaps here a bit. I think the way I want to do that is have a very strong overlap there and a pretty decent one there, like that. And then another 1 by 10. Let's go there. There we go. I'll worry about all the colors and everything later. Just want to get to having the length being correct. Alright, so obviously it's colliding with everything. And it is. I think that's 1 too long. So we will end up pulling all this back. Oops. Back in by 1. That will allow me to delete that. This will allow me to move this. I'll move this up 1. Move that up. That becomes a different length that I have to be considerate of. So I will use different plates for that. Start with the 1 by 6 and then put this longer piece. And then I'm going to need an odd length piece here. So I will do... They actually have these 1x5s now, which are pretty cool, but they have a limited number of colors that they come in, so not the most useful thing. All right. We'll try this. Go back. All right, so now I think it's just a matter of getting this thing rotated in a way that, well, it was rotating, but not really. Can I do this in such a way that I can see everything? Here we go. So will that clip at that distance, at that length? Certainly looks like it. Just need to rotate a little bit more in. Does not like to play nice. That's roughly it. Just can't seem to get the rotation to do exactly what I want. It's at 92. Is that it? That's it right there. And then I will duplicate. So I'll go back into that support. Again, turn it all white. And what's great about this is I can now duplicate this same support with its rotation and just pretty consistently clip it back into place, I think. Like that. Makes it super easy. That is really beginning to come together nicely. And I can use these to create cross supports, which will be the next thing. But yeah, that's beginning to look like an awesome water tower. I am much happier with how that has turned out. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so let's get some cross supports. Let's take a look at 1x6 is the size, maybe. So I'm going to take those same modified plates Man. Can't remember if they called it a tile or what. There it is. These. That's just going to clip right here. And there. Uh-oh. One thing I didn't consider is whether or not I can actually do that. Guess we'll find out here shortly. Because there are different angles that may not rotate the way I need. Yeah, it's going to have a bit of a problem in terms of whether or not it can all clip. And I think the way that we solve that is to actually use a hinge piece. Where's the one I'm looking for? This. This allows me to rotate this. Oops. I'm noticing that I'm breaking my fence line here on one side, so modifications are potentially going to be necessary in terms of positioning of everything. And one way I can do that is do a interesting offset on this, but we'll figure that out in a little bit. How do I actually do the rotation? I think I have to do this and then rotate this way. Yeah, I don't need a lot, just a little bit. All right. Star Trek Next Generation cast showed up in the universe of Fellowship Ring. Do you think they would have tried to help get to Mordor or not break the Prime Directive? I'm assuming you say the PO. So I'm assuming you're meaning Prime Directive there. No, I think that helping would actually conflict with the Prime Directive. So they would not be able to help. So the question here is going to be, what will it take to make this all fit happily together? I think I should do it a different way. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a different type of clip. It is this kind here, here, And these will go in between it. And I will use a 2x2 plate. And then connect all these things up. But I need to rotate this whole thing. Oops. This whole thing out. And rotate this whole thing. Out. And then maybe I can make these all connect. This doesn't, oops, doesn't want to play nicely yet. Until I get on top. So, what happened to my clip? Where did it disappear to? There it is. I'm not really sure how to make this program accept the changes I'm trying to do here. So I think I need to make sure that all these angles are explicitly clear. If I'm at 0 and I move it to, say, 25 degrees, and move this to 25 degrees. And this I'll need to do. Oops. All the way to 0. I think that's what I need to do. Not exactly the most exact science. Oh no, I need to do 50 degrees, don't I? Math and 11 o'clock at night not working out in my favor. Maybe that. I think that's right. The nudge trick. Seems like it's too close to each other. So maybe this needs to come up more, and I need to figure out there's a better way for me to do this. Needs to be kind of more of a straight line than it is. So that makes me think that hinge style isn't what I need to do. I might need a different approach. And it could use this piece potentially. Change my grid. So if I use a different clip style, like this, I can clip on and also rotate. Kind of straight over. Why did that behave so strangely? Kind of like that. Perhaps it's not that clip, perhaps it's the slightly longer one. Trying to see how this may have been done. Cross supports. Maybe use Technic Pieces for this one. Yeah, I don't think so. The challenge being I just have to overcome the fact that they both angle in slightly. I need to account for that twist, basically. Realistically, this is probably completely doable in the physical model because you could just put that under a little bit of strain and make it clip properly. But I think we don't want to force it. If we can help it. Now the other way to get around it would be to do I'm not sure if I'm rehashing myself here, but So one of my questions is going to be, I don't know. Again, I'm looking at how everything was done at right angles. And I'm not doing it at the correct angle. Oh, there's an interesting concept. Okay, let's try this one. I like this concept. Something I didn't consider. This would be Technic, I think. But I'm going to do a search for clip. There are clip pieces that look like this. And flexible connector pieces. That's two. I think it's just hose. That's the wrong type of flexible hose. What are these? Those are two. It's not the right type. Ah, here we go. That would potentially flex between the two of these. Right, so that's there. And I believe there's this concept of it being a fluid body. So if I clip this in here now, and I do it as a but that is how I'd overcome it. And I think that would work. I'm not sure how to make the curvature piece of this work. Oh wait, I could touch it right at the end there. Isn't really what I'm looking for. It's not behaving the way I need it to. So that's definitely how you would do it with this hose piece. You just gotta, I needed to put the bend in, and I'm not sure how to do that in a consistent way. Because it likes to anchor those end points, and that's not what I'm looking. Let me rotate this out some. Will that allow me to place this hose a little bit better? The way that the flexible stuff works is not the greatest. It fits in there, and then I rotate here. it won't let me do it. It won't let me rotate back in. Very lame. That's definitely the way to do it, though. It'll work if I have a slightly smaller tube. Kind of fake it. Whoa. That's acting really weird. This is definitely it, though. This is how you get it to work. Just a matter of getting it to... There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to make that a submodel. Runner tower cross brace, because that should be able to be consistent then across all of these, like this. And that took a while. Getting everything to play nicely with each other is very difficult. You got a bit of a problem here that it doesn't always want to resolve fully. But you can kind of trick it into thinking that it will. All right. Wow. So I want to go into this submodel, water tower pipe. Make it white. And find this Technic axle. And all right. So I go back to the main model. The Technic axle will have to be black, I think. Still doesn't like this being somewhat ill-resolved. Let me see if the nudge will make that happy. Okay. Time to delete all of this nonsense that's hanging out around everywhere. So much stuff I don't need anymore. Go into the cross brace. What colors are these available in? White. Good. So it should all be white. Perfect. Now I have a feeling I'm going to go back and redo a lot of the colors for things. All right, so I definitely don't need to do what I just did with the thing. This can go all the way back in. It's fine. It can be in the core. All right. So, some things I need to fix. We have this problem where the fence is now in the way. And in order to move everything, I'm going to go to step view. Step 8 and 9. So all of this stuff should go to step 8. Okay. So I need all this to be like a little bit more centered. Can I move it over? I have a space of 2 between this fence and 1 between that one. So realistically, I need to extend the fences out. 1. Because this is, well, they're equidistant. Why doesn't it work equidistant? That's bizarre. Because this is built back in the corner, that's why. So one of my options here is to, where I have the foundation, to actually offset it. And I think the way I would do that is all of the platform pieces here. I'm going to create a foundation submodel. Like that. And where is that modified plate? What are you talking about? Where is this thing? Oh, it's this thing. Yeah, we'll delete that for now. So, in theory, all of this water tower stuff can be its own submodel now as well. And now this whole thing, or at least the tank as well, move to, I'm going to rename this. Can I release the submodel? Move that there. Delete step 8. Now create the submodel. All right, so now this whole thing is movable and won't break if I try to modify things. And the problem is I realistically need it to go like over that way about a half step. And that sets it up so that, unfortunately, it is now offset. And so the way to fix that is going to be to go find the modified plates, like these. They have ones that are 3 long, like this, and let these actually set up to hold it. Kind of get like a whole series of them in line for this thing. And I actually don't mind. I'm gonna delete these stairs. One of the things I actually like is the ability to take apart models easily. So the way I would do that is, and I'm going to introduce a new step here. Come on, add a step. What are you doing? There we go. Delete step 9. There we go. So step 9 will now become step 8. When I look at step 9, when I come over here, looking for these pieces specifically, move to step 8. And we'll go put these in those corners. So when I come back to step 9, oops, again, to step 8, it'll sit on top of those. These need to come over here and over here. Get it to position the way I need it to. There we go. Now I believe I'm going to come back up into step 8 here. I'm going to set these as gray. I'm going to take tile pieces now. 1x3 tile pieces. Come on, keep it in the step. 1x3. Fine. I'll create a new step here. Oh no, that's not going to work. To step 8. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can actually do it with these types of tiles. Like this. And what this allows me to do actually is not only install the water tower easily, but fundamentally shift its position as well, or not shift its position, take it off of the model. Like if you need to move this massive thing, you'd hate, I mean absolutely hate, to have to try to pick it up, right? But doing something like this means that, sorry, let's see what you said. Stairway said, remember the pegs on top fit into the holes on the bottom, so you just need a 3x3 plate surrounded by tiles. Yeah, I could do that as well. I'm doing it at the corners. I think this will work. There's like a bajillion different ways you could do it. And you're absolutely right. I could do it that way. This is kind of the standard that I've seen used in like modular building designs, which is kind of why I'm doing it. But now when we take this water tower model, we can just plop it right there on top. And now in theory, all my fence line works. It sits in the middle. It's not running into anything. Still says it's running into it here, which I don't really see how. So I'm beginning to think that, oh, did that fix it? Just clicking on it. And then what I'll do is that actually kind of creates a natural step up. So I think I'll leave it just like that. And I'll go into my water tower model now and go into the foundation. And I'll set all these to gray. All right. It is 11:30. We've been going for 2.5 hours. So I guess a question I would ask, is this interesting to everyone? Is this process good for a live stream? Do you want to see more of this type of thing? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on all of this? I am legitimately curious, just, you know, if this is the type of thing that people would like to see more of or not. I'm going to go here. Step 7. I can certainly, and I probably will, work on this in my off time as well, like when I'm not on the stream. Talking out loud the entire time is actually really surprisingly difficult. So step 4 here, I need to put some plates in. Thinking out loud is not something I do very much of. And you kind of need to do a model like this. Or to make this as a live stream. So kind of struggling with that aspect, but move to step 4. There we go. And likely I would do something to build these as 2 separate models, like you have one side and then the other. But anyway, this is what we've, most of what we've come up with. Really the only real thing to fix at this point, besides maybe changing the color scheme of the water tower to be maybe slightly more interesting. Like, I might do the railing and the supports as more like, I don't want to do more gray, but maybe it's more gray. Can I do darker gray fencing? Is that an option? I actually don't know if these things can be done in a darker gray or not, so let's find out. Because I think that would actually help if I can do one of them in a darker gray. No, I can't do that in a darker gray. But like I think if I did the water tower in like white and red, but then the supports being gray, maybe that would make it look a little bit better. Messing with the color is a lot easier. Going into the parts and kind of redoing all that is a slightly easier thing to do. I'm probably going to put some little like pump elements down here. And then I got to figure out how to do the ladder. Because the ladder straight down from here is going to hit the fence. So really I need to like carve in a space, and that requires me to then redo this piece here. And I don't know what I'd do for that yet. So I got some work to do on it, certainly. I think having this allow for a ladder down will be a little bit better. But it's definitely coming along. Water towers are often light blue. Yeah. They actually, when I was doing research, white is really, really common for this style. Almost exclusively for this style. And I'd even do the roof of it white. But some of the parts don't come in that color. When I was going to the water tank, the lid pieces here, these curved slopes specifically, they come in a silver gray. So I could probably do that. Make the water tank piece this light bluish gray. And maybe do some accent stuff or something like red. And brown or azure. There's like any number of things I could do. I won't mess with it a lot now. This is going to be the real question, is what can I do specifically for these pieces of the railing or the base to fill that in, but leave enough of a gap for there to be the ladder coming up. I don't know that I have a good answer for that either. I could do this. Yeah. So that, sorry, I should be like going to bed at this point, but when I have a problem to solve, I kind of like to dig in a bit. And I think breaking this into steps will be easier to work with as well. But generally speaking, I think I'm going to move all of these to a new step. So let me actually do that. That'll allow me to edit in here a little bit easier. So I think if I do, there's actually these really great pieces that might work for this. Like angled pieces. Nope, they're not going to reach far enough. And these need to be, what am I looking for here? Needs to be 12. And then a 2x4 piece. And hopefully when, like, that'll all hold it together. And then I can do the ladder thing from here. Something like that. All right. So I go to the water tower model. Now I can think about how those stair pieces are going to fit on, and what that would look like would be, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to get this done. That'd be this. And then I'm going to want to do these on the bottom. Uh-oh. All right, take that up a bit. Clip this on here. Pull this over and do the grate. Grill. Oh, I used the wrong term. I don't know why. So I might need this piece to kind of do the last bit of all this. I think connect. Oh goodness, it's behaving very strangely. There we go. I don't know, something like that. What does that actually look like when we go to the main model now? Where does that ladder land? Kind of where it needs to. I might interchange this broken fence piece, make it a little bit further back. And maybe even create like a clip or something, or a different, maybe I'll even clip off of that piece for part of the ladder instead. It might actually just work better. So let's do that. Let's see what happens. Oops. Pull that off. Move pieces around. Clip this on here onto the brace. And let that rotate straight down now. You move the ladder closer to the central pillar. Yeah, I can't do that because I have to have, like, it makes sense for the accessibility piece. But I think by doing what I'm doing right now, it'll actually work. Oops, don't want to do that. I think if I do this, this piece here, and center this kind of, and do the same thing here. That actually lets it drop straight down more or less. Again, this is all just kind of playing around with it at this point. But I think that'll work a little bit better. I'll mess with it another time though. Because it really is, I need to call it quits there. But I do think it's coming along. And mess with the rest of it another time. So yeah, make sure to save it. And yeah, with that, I will call the stream complete for the night. I know it's a little bit different. I will, like I said, I'll probably continue working on this in non-streaming time periods. And, you know, periodically revisit it on stream and talk through the changes I've made. I think, you know, the design process is at least clear now for what I'm trying to achieve. So, all right, everyone. Well, I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll see you all in future streams. I should be doing one tomorrow night, I would assume, but I definitely won't Friday. So, just as an FYI. All right.